destroy our kids.
Welcome back to CPAC exclusive interview. I'm Kathy Zhang, and here we have another distinguished guest, Mr. Claston Bernard. He's running for Congress in Louisiana, but he's also an author, entrepreneur, and an Olympic athlete, very famous one. We'll hear about him just now. All right, so Claston, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me on and helping me to tell my story. I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. I went to Louisiana, had great successes as an Olympian, as an LSU also athlete representing the highest university there. And my story, they have given me so much in Louisiana, so now I want to give them something. This is my present to them. I want to be a champion for Louisiana in Washington, D.C., because we need a champion to represent my district. My district is the fourth worst district, congressional district to live in the country. It has one of the worst cities in the country to live in my district. I want to give them hope. The people know the problems that they have, but we need to offer them a solution. We need to inspire them and let them know a guy like myself who came here as an immigrant can succeed. They can also succeed. They have had great people like Justice Clarence Thomas, Ben Carson, who have done well with not much, and even when all the odds were stacked against them. And that's the spirit I want to tap into, because this country, it's a great country, and in this place you can do great things, but you need the right people on your team. And I'm a winner, I'm a champion. And I want to take that champion decathlon spirit to the people of Louisiana, and we'll get it right in Washington, D.C.
Wow, we already feel the energy that you have. Yeah, so I just, I just look up your achievement in the athletic field, and it's just so impressive. And you just told me actually, because we're talking about how you have already lived in Louisiana for over 20 years, but when you participated in the athletic competition, you actually represented Jamaica. Yes. So tell us about that.
Well, I mean, the Olympic is just like no other event. It's the best athletes in the world. It was in 2000, Sydney, Australia. I think I had turned 21 years old when I qualified, and I remember walking into the stadium in Sydney, Australia, to the roar of 70-something thousand people with 2+ billion people watching it. There's no other feeling like that. It's an amazing feeling. And to be able to step on that world stage, I think it was just priming me for moments like this. My second Olympic game was in Athens, Greece. And on that stage, I was one of the outside medal favorites. And I ended up finishing 9th in Athens, Greece. And for me, there's also the Commonwealth Games, which is the second largest Olympic type event outside the Olympic Games, and I won a gold medal in that, and that was just amazing. I've had a great athletic career, and like I said, in college I was national collegiate champion in the decathlon. In my conference I was 4-time SEC champion. So athletic has been a driving force, but the reason why I'm here in America, it wasn't so much about athletics. I wanted a scholarship to go to university, but my great-grandfather told my dad the best way out of poverty was through education. And one of the things I'm telling the people of Louisiana, education is one of the best ways out of poverty. It is tried, proven. Not only that, education, but adhering to to family, to God and family. That's the glue, that's the tie that binds us as a society. And we can look at all the problems. We can say bigotry exists. We can talk about all the hurdles, but they're hurdles for a reason. There are barriers for a reason. They're made to be overcome. And we can do that. And that's a spirit I don't want to tap into.
Yeah, and you told me about how you actually didn't want to take a spot from American athletes, right?
Yes, after I made the Olympics in 2000, now that elevates you as an immigrant to a professional status. You could actually, the law was, hey, you can become an American. You're one of the top collegians in the country. That would attract bigger shoe contract, more monetary support, and that would, you have a shot of making it to the American Olympic team, which is a big deal. But for me, I started loving the country, but there are a lot of competitors that I met that I like, and I wanted them to have a shot, and I wanted to also inspire those Jamaicans to say, you can do great things. Look at what I did. I was the first decathlete to represent Jamaica at the international level and bring them any kind of success. And I've opened doors for many people doing that, where a lot of people believe. And I come back to this. I know, yes, I could have taken American spot, but here I am, and I am living the American dream as an American. And now I want to inspire Americans because of what they have given me.
Wonderful. Yeah. So you just really try to inspire all the people that you can touch. Yeah. So, in this country right now, a lot of people are, talk about the identity politics that you actually touched upon, right? Because in terms of the minorities and how this country should treat these type of people. So what's your thought on that?
Well, I'll tell you this. The 14th Amendment says, if you're born or naturalized here, you're an American. If you're black, you're an American. If you're white, you're an American. If you're Asian, it also says we're made in God's image. It also said we're made with one blood. Scientifically, it also said we're 99.98 similar genetically. We're only 0.012% different. So do we play to those differences? Do we tribalize our society for power? And that's what the movement is about. It's not about minority outreach. It's for those who are power hungry, and they're looking to tap into the vulnerability of these marginalized group for power. That's what we're dealing with. Those with their socialist agenda, those with their money hungry, grubbing, that's the agenda that they're pushing, but they're looking always for where you're vulnerable. If you want to help people, you don't talk to their weaknesses. You speak to their strength. And that's what I intend to do, is to speak to people's strength, because God says we are one people.
Yeah, and so, coming from your background as an athlete, but you became an author, entrepreneur. So tell us about how you transform.
It was always there. My dad set the example, and he set the example that in order for you to succeed in life, you just need to be steadfast, you need to be disciplined, and you have hard work. The American dream is in the reach of everyone. All people in this country have an opportunity to that American dream. American story is one of overcoming great obstacles, no matter who you are. And that's what I know, that is what I see as the path forward. You will, if you continue to work hard, if you continue to be disciplined, the opportunities will open up. You don't need to force and make things happen. And that's what being an American is about.
And just to your kind of a fellow athletes who may think or act differently. So, from what you know, why they are different from you, and how what you want to say.
Each person have their unique story, but there's also absolute truth. And we all, no matter what our stories are, no matter what injustices that we suffer, we have to understand what that absolute truth is. For me, it's the Christian religion. It's the cross. So whatever situation that you have, you go to that cross. You go to God with that situation. Otherwise, if we only try to say, I live by my truth, then who said it's one person will say it's okay to harm this group of people, and another person might say it's okay to steal. Where do we look to for the absolute truth, no matter what the injustices are? And that's what I would say to them. Understand that what we're espousing, injustice is not right, but we should always look where truth is. And the truth was on Calvary over 2,000 years ago. He sacrificed for us. He sacrificed for humanity so we could be humans and not behave like animals or tribalistic. And that's what we have to start connecting with.
And how do you see the danger that those leftists and socialists, even communism, would have to our country?
It's totally anti-American. It's anti-Christian. It is anti-family. The thing is, I'll say this. The family was the first institution created by God. Okay? Government is inferior to the family. The family is the strength of every society, not the government, not the building. If you're building more courthouses or more prisons, that means the family is failing. So we have to speak to the family. We have to heal the family, not the government. We don't need more political bureaucrats out there telling us how to fix the family. So that's where we are, and that's where socialism comes in. Some socialists, they're very good at telling you what the problems are. They can identify it, but their prescription or the way they're telling you to fix it is leading to more destruction, where you elevate the government above the family and also above God. And that's what their intentions are, because they want to recreate reality. They want to recreate truth. And their goal is destruction of humanity, whatever their intentions are.
And based on what you know, the more, athletic world, so what do you think there should, if you are to try to do something to help them, what would that be?
I will continue to speak the truth and stand on my belief. That's how it was done in history, and that's how I intend to do it. That was the example that was set for us by Christ.
And right now, there's so much cancel culture. There are a lot of, for example, the big tech, the social media companies, they are just try to silence different opinions. So what do you say about that?
It is flat out wrong. And what they're doing, they need to read history. It has never worked. Whether it was the French Revolution, we can go back. We can go on and on. They believe you can go back to the Gilded Ages, when a group of people, technocrats or whatever you want to call them, believe that their knowledge is superior and make them godlike more than anybody else. It has never worked out well. So a little reading in history will tell them that what you're doing, people, especially the American people, value freedom more than technocrats and bureaucrats. And we eventually will stand up to this tyranny and says enough. We've had enough. So keep on playing like your kingmaker. Keep playing like you're God. Eventually, the people will say, we value our freedom more than tyranny. We are not about to allow you to lead us down to the path of slavery and serfdom. And that's who these people are. They believe that they have the right to dictate what is wrong, what is offensive, but their behavior in nature is anti-freedom.
And so what prompted you to run for office?
You know what? I love this country. I love what this country represents. I have 2 daughters that I'm raising that I want to fully embrace America with whatever the past and history is. I want them to understand that this is one of the greatest countries. And I can say that because I've been on 5 continents and many countries that you will ever live in. And I want people, Black Americans, white Americans, Native American, whoever you are, Asian American, to know this country is a beacon of hope for humanity, and we cannot allow it to go to the socialists or any political class who want to dominate and control.
And how would you plan to, if you are elected, how would you plan to change the situation in your district?
How do I plan to stay? We need after-school program for those kids. Math, English, plumbing, electrical, pipe fitting. We need programs that will help those children after school to get proper skills, so when they leave high school, they are more productive members of society. The prescription, the way to solve a lot of the problem, they said, finish high school with a viable skill, get a job, get married, stay married, keep your job, stay married, and that is the solution to fixing a lot of the problem. In my district, only 5.1% of children from married couples live below the poverty level. Statistics shows that marriages reduces poverty by as much as 80%. We are not hearing people talking about that. And that's part of the solution. But like I said, with education, in my district, I believe they should privatize everything. We have choices in where we go for supermarket, where we buy shoes, where we buy clothes. Why not education? See, we need to be able to diversify the government. Education in the hand of the government, as we're seeing it right now, become a tool for political indoctrination. That's what it is being used for. And education has become a grievance business. A critical race theory, it's about division. So I want to privatize everything. You should not be restricted by your zip code or wherever you live. Your zip code shouldn't restrict you to a life of poverty or a life of suffering. And education is what will free that.
Yeah. So, a lot of athletes also went around the country, and including China. But obviously, a lot of people think the money in China played a big role in the NBAs, things like that. So, what would you say? Why you are different from them, or they different from you? Some of them.
I don't think I'm different from them. I just think they're being misdirected. and they have to seek truth out, because there are people at times they're going down the wrong path, and like I said, there's a grievance culture, and it's quite powerful, it's quite seductive, and people sometimes want to be a part of a movement. So that's part of the reality of what we're dealing with, but they have to recognize the greatness behind what America is about. You see, they are aware, especially the elite athletes, they're there, and they're there because they have something that people value. I want to go and watch the NBA because LeBron James is good. He's very good at what he does. I wanted to go, whether it was Michael Jordan. I want to watch the NFL because Deshaun Jackson is good at what they do. Russell Wilson, they're good at what they do. As an athlete, I want to see your talent on display, and you are getting what you deserve. You're earning it because you're good, not because of your color. Say this: the NBA is 70% black. Not because they're not there because someone feels bad for them. They're there because they're better than most people. The NFL likewise. And I know when I'm watching the NFL or the NBA, I'm seeing the best. And they need to understand that's what the capitalist system is about. It rewards the best. It rewards hard work. It rewards discipline. That's what we are. That's who we are as a country. And they, once they can connect that, then they will understand there are issues. Yes. Are there racial issues? Yes. But a lot of those issues can be traced back to the breakdown in the family. Because in this country's history, even during slavery, they could not break the family apart. During Jim Crow, they could not break the black family apart. But once the government got involved with their socialist program, the family started disintegrating. And we have to look at history. That's why history is important to read. It's important to understand.
Yeah, I noticed that you refer back a lot to the history. So, how do you think the history in education in the United States?
It's been revised. They're telling people tear down statues. Statues can't do me anything unless it falls on me. History is there it is there to be learned from. It is there to understand. You said, when you walk into a forest, if there's a fence, before you cross over it or before you remove it, first understand why it's there. And history we're doing a bad job in telling people, just tear this down. Why? We need to ask, why is it there in the first place? I think we'll learn a lot from that. All of a sudden, no longer you're offended. Doesn't matter what. Now you know why. And that's what we have to be careful with when we're trying to tear down our history.
So for yourself, learning the history, how do you do that? Do you by yourself, at school, or your parents?
I did it I have always been a student of history. And at LSU, even though my degree's in HR, human resource management, I was only 2 classes from a minor in history. I love history. I love the history of Western civilization. I love Black American history, civil rights history. I love looking at what has happened in the past. A guy like Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, those are trailblazing Americans. I love the history. Thomas Jefferson, you can go back, all throughout times and look at it, and you see all of a sudden the commonality, the humanity of who we are. Talk about Abraham Lincoln. So a lot of my story, I am able to pull on history to bring home the point and to show that we have been here, but look where we are, and look at what we're able to become. So for me, history is it's refreshing, it's revealing, So, look, American history is a beautiful history. We're celebrating Black History Month right now, but Black history is American history. It's not separate. You can't separate the black man from America because American is in his DNA, even though his ethnicity might be African. His DNA is American.
Very well said. So, it seems very inspiring. And so how would you plan to campaign and win the election?
Well, first I'm asking people to go to bernardforcongress.com. Bernard for Congress, spelled out FOR for Congress.com. I need you guys to become a part of this movement. I need you guys to help my campaign, help share my story. Get involved in this movement. That's what I'm asking you guys to do. Thank you.
So if there's one thing you want our audience to take away, what would be that?
America is one of the greatest countries in the world. And my state, Louisiana, is a beautiful state with rich tourism, great music, great food. I live in a city of Gonzales. This is called the jambalaya capital of the world. New Orleans have rich gumbo, rich French, there's Spanish history, Native American history. We are a great tourism industry, and it's part of the lifeblood of our state. And I want you guys to start coming in. Check out our state. We have amazing music, Zydeco. We have great musicians. We've had Aaron Naval. We've had Percy Sledge. We have Lil Wayne is from Louisiana. We have a great history. So I want you guys to come to Louisiana and come march with me, come walk with me, come talk with me in the while I'm out there in the campaign. But share my story. Go to bernardforcongress.com, and whatever way you can contribute to this movement, help get it going. The election is on March 20th. Early voting start March 6th. So I need your help.
Wonderful. Claston Bernard. Yeah, it's wonderful to have you on our show.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. And now we go back to CPAC Live.